going to try and keep the volume down just a little bit because it's really tight quarters. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. This is a really important concert to the Wisconsin Rapids City Band, and we're really glad to be here for you. So glad that we were willing to move it indoors and haul a bunch of equipment in different places. And so thank you so much for coming in to listen to us. These guys have worked really hard for this. So we're going to start our concert, seeing how it is our nation's birthday today. We're going to start with the Star Spangled Banner. So if you're able, stand and remove your hats.
Hands over. I see a lot of people who don't do that.
Thank you so very much. I did neglect to announce right at the beginning. I suppose now is technically the start of the concert. So we are joined today for one piece later in the concert. You're in for a real treat. We're joined today by what I've been calling the Wisconsin Rapids City Band Festival Choir. It's made up of community choir, the Rome Community Choir, Wisconsin Rapids Community Choir, members of First English, and Lincoln, and members of the Lincoln High School choral program. So it's one big conglomeration from the area, so I'm really glad, and they were what joined us on the national anthem. Oh, now they made me completely forget what I was going to say, which is good for you. Oh, our concert tonight is sponsored by the Wisconsin Rapids Area Teachers Association. So we want to make sure that we thank them so much for sponsoring this concert. They do it every year for the 4th of July, and we're glad to have them back this year as a sponsor. We're going to start the concert tonight. The opening march is one that you will recognize. This is an E.E. Bagley march called National Emblem. Thank you very much. Next up is a tune by Irving Berlin. This is called Songs for America. You'll recognize all of the different American folk songs that are in this. Next up is a Henry Fillmore march. I had to double check. Henry Fillmore march called the Klaxon. Very old march, really, really well known here in the United States, and I hope you enjoy our performance of it. just easier to bring it with me. Next up is music from George M. Cohan. Wrote all kinds of patriotic tunes through World War I and World War II. Really important composer in American music. This is called Star Spangled Spectacular. Thank you so very much. That's a lot of notes. They do a nice job with that. Next up is an arrangement by Jerry Nowak, a tune by George Root, and this is called Battle Cry of Freedom. Next up is a tune that doesn't need a whole lot of introduction. This is John Philip Sousa's The Washington Post. All right, thank you very much. Got to give those low brass guys a chance to rest their faces. I know what this concert can do to you. Next up is something I've had in the works since last fall. When I was putting away last season, I stumbled across this tune in our files, which are right here at Centralia, and set it aside for this season. Talked a little bit with Julie and Dave and Sid Cooper, Dave Miller and Julie Stoffel over here. And Sid couldn't be here today. She was up in Ely, Minnesota helping a relative. So I do want to just publicly acknowledge her choir is doing a marvelous job. So way to go. And all of the community choir people and the high school kids and everybody. This tune is written around a eulogy. And it's written around, it's kind of an odd eulogy because the guy whose eulogy it is wrote it. And his name is Max Winkler. And he was a vet and was one of the founders of the Bellwin Mills Music Publishing Company. And in 1955, Mr. Winkler, who was of good health and young age, I don't think he was even 65 yet, decided he wanted to write his own eulogy. And he wrote this poem, this lovely poem, and Dave Miller is going to read it in the opening for us as part of the performance. So I'm not going to spoil it and read it for you. But his kids, upon his passing and having the eulogy read, his kids decided they wanted it made into a piece of music that would last forever. And they gave the poem to one of the top composers at that time, Alfred Reed, and he writes just marvelous band stuff. I'm not as familiar with his choral works. I'm not sure if he did a lot of choral works or not, but he writes marvelous band stuff. And so he took that poem and he turned it into the piece that you're about to hear. This is Max Winkler's eulogy, written by Alfred Reed, entitled Testament of an American.
To heaven with tears in my eyes and thanking God for the privilege of fashioning a prayer of my own in honor of this land. A land consisting of 50 kingdoms, each bigger, better, greater, richer, and freer than any kingdom or piece of land on the face of this earth. A land that has given me freedom and protection, as well as spiritual and material riches, with countless opportunities to share all with the more unfortunate and with my family and friends. A land I should be sorry to leave because it is a sequel to God's paradise. And it would be a sad moment indeed for anyone not to be able to hear the golden tones and silver words of the great song that is America. I have stood on the good earth of my beloved country for many years, and this same good earth will one day be with me forever and ever. I thank God for this privilege denied to so many in offering this prayer as a testament to all America.
I'm telling you, there is nothing better than having really great colleagues to collaborate with. That is the coolest thing. So, thank you so very much. Mrs. Stoffel and Mr. Miller and Mrs. Cooper up in northern Minnesota. We're not quite done yet, although I must say I did think about holding that till the very last tune. Next up is a Carl King tune that is kind of new to our 4th of July program. This is called Hosts of Freedom. Hosts of Freedom. Yes, James? Of course I can make an announcement. Okay. All right, so, hang on, don't go anywhere. I don't want your phone. James Zabel, ladies and gentlemen, he's the president of our board. He's the one to make sure all this happens. Mayor Brewing sent him a message that said they are planning a flyover tonight over the river, I'm guessing, up the river channel, at 8:08. Going to run along the river. Unless weather prohibits, it is possible to have the band do a late change. Well, it's probably a little late to make that change now. So, anyway, if we're done by 8:08, you can get on out there and hear it. We've only got 2 left, so it's really, there's a likelihood you'll get to see the flyover. James, how is the weather looking for said flyover? Okay.
So good.
Okay. Next up is a tune that's really very important to me personally and as most bands, because it is kind of about what today is about. The birth of our country and the men and women that have sacrificed so much for our freedoms and for me to be able to do something like sit here in front of these people and make wonderful music and be able to collaborate with my friends. So this is called Armed Forces Salute, and it contains all of the marches of all of the services, the armed forces. So you'll hear the caisson song, Semper Paratus, the Marine hymn, the U.S. Air Force song, and Anchors Away. When you hear your song, if you are a vet, I would like it very much if you would stand. I'm not sure I'll be able to conduct and announce who it is and see you stand, but please do. It's important that you be recognized for your sacrifice and for the wonderful things you've done for our country. So, Armed Forces Salute. Yep. My tenor saxophone player just reminded me of something earlier we had, you're in the Army now, Mr. Jones, inside one of those medleys, and this is my tenor player, Bobby Sosin. It's his last performance with us because on Monday he leaves for basic training. He's just graduated. And so we're going to have him stand tonight too. I know Bob's dad is here too, so I know that's an important thing for him. So Bob, thank you so much. Bobby, thank you so much for everything you've given to the City Band, and we expect when you're done with basic, young man, and you've done your tour, you come back and play. So, Armed Forces Salute. Thank you so very much. I did neglect, and I was halfway through this thinking about something else. I should have been thinking about the music, but I was halfway through. I didn't think about the people that are currently serving, so I know a number of people in the audience that are currently serving, so thank you so very much for what you do. We're going to close our 4th of July concert. I can't believe it's been an hour already, and we've gotten through a lot of great music. Thank you so much again for coming out. Thank you to the Wisconsin Rapids Teachers Association for sponsoring tonight. There's a number of us that either have been or are currently members of that group, so we really appreciate them doing the sponsoring of this concert for us. We're going to close as we normally do for the 4th of July with Stars and Stripes Forever from John Philip Sousa. Please come out and see us on Tuesday nights. We're there every Tuesday night at Robinson Park, putting on a show every week. If we do end up with bad weather, we do go to the PAC. Like last week, we called it kind of early and went up there, and we were very glad we did. The final concert of the year, however, will be Sunday, August the 5th. And because we don't have air conditioning at Lincoln right now, because of the construction and all kinds of new stuff going in up there, we are going to do our final concert at Robinson Park, and it's going to be a concert in the park for you all to come out and do following our famous dance concert the week before. We'll be putting on some different solo things for you, and I think I've talked the flutes into doing a flute choir thing, and so it'll be a very different concert than we normally do, but come on out. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your 4th. Stars and Stripes Forever.